Okay, yesterday we began a new parak. I went through the Mishnah very quickly, but basically there's a Shevuous Midaraisa, three Shevuous Midaraisa, Shevuous Hashem, Shevuous Eirechad, and Shevuous Moedah B'Miktzas. This is the Shua Moedah B'Miktzas, that the person Kitin Vish Eliyahu Kesef Kalim, and he says Kihu Zed, not like this, but like this. And he has to swear Shua Daraisa. It's called the Shevuous Hadayonim. It's called the Shevuous Hadayonim. It's a shvua, as we're going to see with the Kitas HaChefetz, fellas. It's a shvua that you take a Torah. It's opposed to shvuas bitoy or shvuas hashemim. You do not take a sefer Torah. You do not take a sefer Torah. But shvuas moedah mixes. Where you make a claim in Bezdin, you're gonna take a Torah. And we'll see in the Gemara. It says the Gemara, Hechem Ashbiyan Lo on Lamed Ches Lamed Beis. Hechem Ashbiyan Lo. How do you go ahead and make? I have to apologize. I'm a little under the weather. My voice is not so strong, so I apologize. Since this is a shua deraisa, you're going to make the shua that says in the Torah. Now, the first shua we have in the Torah, fellas, is the shua of Avram Avinu vis-a-vis what? Not getting a wife, not taking Yitzchak to out of Eretz Yisrael. And I'll make you swear. I make you swear by Hashem Elokei Hashemayim. So that pashtus is the lashon of the shua. The Gemara is the Havamina is. Now the question is that the Shem Hashem, or is the name of Hashem who is the Kei Hashemayim? Are we discussing the Shem? Do you need the Shem, or just no a kino as well? So Amalei Ravina Ravashi Kiman, when it says Ashbiacha B'Hashem Elokei Hashemayim, it's mashma you need the Shem Hashem. And Amalei Ravina Ravashi Kiman, who is this according to? Is Reb Chanina Baridi. This is according to Reb Chanina Baridi, who we met earlier. The Amar Binyan Shema Miyuchid. Like we learned out from Saita, it says in the Torah, Hishavav la Yeshava. We learned out in the parak before that you need the Shem Hashem. So according to this opinion, according to Rav, according to Rav Yehuda reporting the name of Rav, you'd have to use the Shem Hashem. No, the Shuas has to be a Shem Hashem. So Amalei, so Ravashi told Ravina, I feel Taim Rabbanon. The Ami Bikinui. You could use. You don't have to use the Shem Hashem. You could use any kini of Hashem. Lamechesam base. V'nafkamina that tzarich latfuse chefza biyadei. And so if you learn out from Avram Avinu, what are you learning out? Bishlem, if you're learning out what that you need the Shem, then you're learning out something from Avinu. And the Havamina of the Gemara is, fellas, this is a deraisa limud. So if you're learning it from Avram Avinu, it makes sense that what you can use the Shem Hashem. But if you're not going to use the Shem Hashem, then what are you learning out? So you're learning out. Now what did Avram Avinu do? He made Eliezer put his hand tachas yirechi. Why? Because that was the only chefza shel mitzvah that he had. He had the mitzvah of Mila. So he put his hand underneath his leg near the makam Mila, and say, just like this, I'm making you swear with this like chefza shel mitzvah. The Mila was the chefza shel mitzvah. You have to swear with a chayfetz with a Torah. Partially, you have to swear with a Torah. So that's what he's learning out from there. Look at Taisus. Like fuse bechefza biyadei tema. The v'shua se'edus bituy apikadin keshu mushba mi piacherim. When other people make him swear, to have a dumya the shua sadayanim liboy behu and kutei chefza. You should also need it, right? Why over there? In other words, just like Bezdin's making you swear, good. Just like Bezdin's making you swear, you need to take a chayfetz. So too we a mushba pia acherim. Not when you yourself, but when people are making you swear and you're quiet, you're kaifa, right? We got that right, right? Also, then therefore you should need to keep the chayfetz because it's similar to dayanim making you swear. Taisus doesn't answer it, but if you look, it says ayin rush seif simin aleph tiritz al zeh, and I did, and I sent it to you. Okay, I sent it to you on your phones. Can you see a lot of Rashi letters? Good. Guys, where I underlined him Taimar. I'll give it to you in a second. Vim Taimar. Maishno de Rabbanon Yofa Mehasam Lichatsoyin. Guys, the Rabbanon, are you learning the limud, but they're learning it halfway? What are you learning from Avinu, guys? You're learning Chetza Shal Mitzvah, but you're not learning Shem Hashem. If you're learning from Avraham Avinu, why don't you go the whole 9 yards? Learn Sai, the name of Hashem, and Sai, Netilas Chayfetz. You're only learning one thing. Frag the rush. This is the rush. Why are you only learning one thing? Learn both. The Rabbanan Savri, Kivim Nichsev Elokei Hashemayim, Hainu Nami Kinoi. That's no, it didn't say the Shem Hashem. Elokei Hashemayim. By going ahead and adding the word Shemayim, you're saying that's a kinoi of Hashem. It's not the main name of Hashem. So for Rab Chanina Baridi, who holds Yidafka need the Shem Hashem Savar, Kivin Dechsiv Hashem Elokei Hashemayim Habi Shem HaMiyuchad Klaimar Hashem, the Shem HaMiyuchad Shehu, who happens to be Elokei Hashemayim. Okay, so in answer to the question, the Chachamim say he learns out everything from there, but there it says Elokei Hashemayim. He learns it's a kinoi. And Rav Chanina Bar Idi, who held it to Shem Hashem, said Hashem, comma, who is the Shem? So therefore it's Shem Hashem. Okay, Inami, another term. This is what we need. Hai de boy and kute chefza, lav di alfina mehasam. Frag the Rosh Hashanah. Why don't you learn it out from there, the whole thing? And for the Rosh, you're not learning out anything from there. It's an asmachta. It's the din d'Rabbanan. Hai de alfina mehasam el asmachta ba'almahi. V'takonis chachamim. It's all the takonis chachamim. Why? Lahatel ema ala nishba. To go ahead and scare the person who has to make a shua, as we're going to see in tonight's daf. I underline this. It makes him holding a sefer Torah of a chayfa shal mitzvah. V'shliach bezdin mashbia b'shem oy b'kinoi, and it makes him swear in the name or a kinoi. Ulahai shinui nicha tleiboy in kute chefza b'shuas eidus shuas bitim. It makes sense. By shuas hapikadin, and good, the guy's making you swear, but no, you're not there. In other words, over here, you're going through a process. You go to Bezdin. Bezdin's going to make you swear. Bezdin, therefore, it's going to give you a Torah to scare you. But over there, you're not in Bezdin, right? I'm saying it's Mushba. Mushba says outside of Bezdin. Only the kfir has to be in Bezdin. The shua is outside of Bezdin. And that would answer Taisus Kasha. What's the difference between Shvuous Hapikadin and Shvuous Edus, that Shvuous Hapikadin and Shvuous Habitui, that you do not need Aydechem, you don't need Netifas Chayfetz. It's not in Bezdin. It's not, and you're not scaring the guy. Mashen came the Shvuous of the Yom, which is best, and the purpose is scaring the guy. And that would answer Taisus Kasha. That's an answer Taisus Kasha. Okay, very good shmak. Okay, that was the rush in the and the Siman Aleph in this parak. Uchida Rava. That you need Netilas Chayfetz like Rava. 1, 2, 3, about 7 lines up on Lamed Ches Amid Beis. About 7 lines up on Lamed Ches Amid Beis. Rava says Rava, hi Dina, the Ashba Lakeh Shemayim, any dayan that makes a person swear without Netilas Chayfetz, guys, without taking the Chefetz of mitzvah, Naseh K'misha Tobed V'Mishnah, you made a mistake, v'chayzer, and you have to go back. In other words, you used the shame. You didn't use the shame. You Lakeh Shemayim, it's not a problem. However, you need to keep the Chayfetz, and if you don't do it, you Tobed V'Mishnah, which is a chiddush, guys. Usually Tobed V'Mishnah you think is a statement of a Tana. This Nikitas Chayfetz is Rav. It's a statement of Amoroyim. You see it past Torah b'Dvar Mishnah, even by Amoira. When Amoira says something, it's Shaykh Torah b'Dvar Mitzvah, not just when the Tana says something. V'omra Papa, Hi Daino da Ashba b'Tfilin. You use Tfilin instead of using a Sefer Torah. Nasa Kamisha Torah b'Dvar Mishnah v'Chayzer, and you'd have to go back. You'd have to use Dafka Sefer Torah. However, v'Hilchas Kavasi the Rava, that what you need a Chayfetz Shal Mitzvah. And it could even be, it doesn't have to be a Torah, and you would go back if you don't take it. But less Hilchas Papa who says that Dafka Torah and not what, and not Tefillin. Hilchas the Rava, the whole Enoch and Chetza b'Yadei. The Halachas Rava that you'd have to go back. If you just made him swear in the name of Hashem, right? Even a kinoi without Nekitas Chayfetz, that you can be chayzer the din, right? The less Hilchas Papa, the Enoch and Chetza b'Yadei. You took a chayfetz in your hand. You took a chayfetz in your hands. It was a chayfetz of a tefillin, and that would do the job. So therefore, the question is it acceptable or not? Again, the one who says it's a Torah, Papa said the Torah, it's not enough. You can facilitate it really easy having a. Okay, so I saw a very interesting ritful. What about tzitzis? If you hold your tzitzis and make a shua, would it be good?
Is different because it's not a mitzvah. So if you wear the beggar, then you need tzitzis, right?
It's a mitzvah. The whole I don't know. Even mitzvahs. All the Torah is in Tayag mitzvahs and tzitzis.
When you look at it, it's not in the mitzvah.
Again, no, the mitzvah itself. Again, whatever. Now I'll tell you the best answer. It's not Davar Kedusha. Yeah, it's not Davar Kedusha. In other words, it's Tash Mishal Mitzvah. Yeah, but again, the Ritva brings it down, and that's the teretz of the Ritva. I just thought it was interesting. It's not. It's a davar that you makayim a mitzvah with. It's Tash Mishal Mitzvah, but it's not a Davar Kedusha. It's not like it's any other mitzvah, right? You can dispose. Yeah, right. Again, but you can't. It's not like a Sefer Torah. It's not like tefillin, right? What? Mezuzah, it's also dvar shavak. It might be also good. Okay. So the shaila is okay. Let's go weiter. Shvua omid. A shvua has to be given when they're standing. This is the protocol. The shvua is administered when they're standing. Talmud Chacham Yushiv, the covered Talmud Chacham, he could lechatchila sit. Lechatchila he could sit. Shvua b'sefer Torah, right? And Talmud Chacham lechatchila b'tfilin. Talmud Chacham lechatchila b'tfilin. Now, very interesting Rashi over here, guys. Sefer Torah, the Afgav dokminan the like Rav Papa lechatchila Papa. Even though we said not like Rav Papa that you could use tefillin, lechatchila miya sefer Torah b'inen. Guys, Rashi's by the way kasha. You just said the Allah is not like Reb Papa. You don't need to fill in. And now what's the Gemara saying? Sefer Torah. It seems to be what Tarti the Sasri. So therefore, Rashi's telling you the Lichatchila Sefer Torah. Ubedaraseinu batlu harishainim shvua deraisa. Lefi she ansha gadol. They were mevatl shvua deraisa because it's a tremendous einish. V'tiknu ligzor alav ora ba'asara. V'ha amin ora ba'shvua. So they were metaken to be guys that the lashon of Orah be'asara with 10 people, and Orah is the lashon of Shvua. So again, it seems to be, according to Rashi, many others trying to disagree with Rashi. The Rambam, the Ran, they disagree with Rashi that it's brought down. I don't know. Again, it's Shvua Sadayanim. Again, you have to. We're going to see in the Gemara. You got to be nuts to make a Shvua. You got to be squeaky clean to make a Shvua, as we're going to see right now. Tan Rabbanan. Now, Rabbanan. Shevuous Dayanim, Af Hibel Shaina Nemra. You can say in the lashon that they understand. Oimrim Loi, and we tell them, guys. Now this Oimrim Loi, we say to him, is the next half of Amid. There's a whole brisa. This is what we say to him. And what I'm going to read to you now is what we say to him, and you'll see that the job was to go ahead and scare him, and that's why it wasn't shayach by Shevuous Bitoy and Shevuous Eitz. Shekol Olam Kuloi. Nizdaze b'shah Shama Kadosh Baruch Hu b'Sinai. The whole world shook when Kadosh Baruch Hu said at Sinai, "Leisisa Hashem Elkecha Lashav." They bring, fellas, the world was created with Dibur. It was created with the name of Hashem, the Hey and the Yud. If you go ahead and say the name of Hashem in vain, right? The words that we use to go ahead, they're chsoid to create the world. This Mela, the world's going to shake. The world's going to shake because you're overturning, you're overrooting right. The Koach HaDibur, using it in vain. The words name that Hashem used to create the world. Now you're saying in vain, and therefore the world is not there. It would shake. It makes sense. Why the shake is why shake? Why dafka that? It's a nice pshat.
It's not because it was one of
the. It's mashma only because not the whole Shem Hashem. Only this one. Right? Only this one. Not the whole Shem Hashem. Dafka this one. And all the averis the Torah it says v'nakei, and the Kodesh Baruch Hu, you'll get cleansed. V'kan nemer lo yinakei. All right, it says lo yisish Hashem lokecha lashav ki lo yinaka Hashem es asher yisa Hashem lashav. Hakadosh Baruch Hu ki lo yinaka. So again, we're telling this to the guy to scare him. Now look at that, the severity. The world shook when it said Hashem lo yisish Hashem lashav. In addition, it says lo yinaka. The Gemara is going to explain this whole brisa, fellas. Right, and all averis in the Torah, you take retribution from him. The kan mimenu mimshpachtoi. If a person is going to be mitzi shame lashav, it's going to be from him and his mishpacha. Shenemar, of course, the pasuk says, "Al titein es picha lachti es b'sarecha." Do not give your mouth lachti to cause the sin es bisarecha. Vein bisaroi el kroivoi. Who's his basa? That's not him. It's referring to his relative. Shnemar umibisarcha leisas alim. V'chol aver shebetari nefroim imenu. V'kan imenu mikol oilam. Not only the Gemara is asking if it's a kol oilam, so it's brachas included. We'll see it on the Amid base. V'kan imenu mikol oilam kulei. Shnemar. Now this is a pasuk, guys, in Hosea. The pasuk says, Oloi, it's a lashon shvua, v'kachesh, v'rotzoyach, v'gonov, v'na'uf, a bunch of not good things. Partsu v'domim nago. And then it says two pesukim later, al kain teva la'aretz. Therefore the world was teva, the world was lost. Says the Gemara. Oloi v'kachesh, v'ema ad l'kula. Since the pasuk said, fellas, the rotzach, the gonov. Why do you think that only because of aloi? Maybe it has the kichesh. Maybe because you said a false shua. Maybe it's everything. The whole pasuk describes other averis as well. The averis of ritzicha, the averis of geneva. Maybe those as well. So loisal kedaitach tichsiv mifnei Allah avla haaretz, because of avla, just because of Allah, because of shua the land was lost. Ukesiv akein sev ala haaretz for umlo kol yosheba. Okay, so you see that. So we were scaring the guy. The world shook. You're going to be punished. Your family is going to be punished. 2 or 3 generations. The kind of mental alta. You don't get any schusim right away. Shnemar. Now here's the whole pasuk. We're going to dash in this whole pasuk. It says in Zechariah, "Hoitzesiya nu'um Hashem tzvakois ubol beis haganif vel beis hanishba b'shmila shoker v'lonu b'seich beisai." So we're going to go ahead and darshan the whole pasuk. So I'd say Sia, I've caused to emerge Num Hashem Tzavakois Ubol Beis Haganif Vel Beis Hanishba B'Shmi LaShaker V'Lana B'Seich Beisa V'Kilatoi V'Seitza V'Esavanav. I'd say Sia La'alter immediately. That's what we needed, guys. Ubol Beis Haganif Zeh Goinif Das HaBriyos. What's Beis Haganif? A person who steals the Das of the Briyos. Shein Li Mamin Eitzel Chavero. He doesn't have money by his friend. V'Tayinoi, and he makes a claim Umashbiyoi. And make, that's what ready makes him swear falsely. Vel beis hanishba b'shmila shaker k'mashmai, that literally v'lana b'teich beisai v'chilasai v'seitza v'esavanav v'lamarata devarim shein eshu mayim mechal naisam, things that mayim and esh can't destroy. Shua sheker mechal naisam. Shua sheker could go ahead and destroy. Again, that's the side of misusing the name. That it's not subject, no physical substance can stand within it, because since it was the shame that caused the physical substance to be built, so fire can only destroy a physical thing. Im Omar Eni Nishba, if he said, now this is you guys, you read him all these good things, right? Im Omar Eni Nishba, Poitner Samiyad, if he says I won't swear, we say pay up, and that's it. Rashi, guys, 2 lines from the top. Poitner Samiyad. And we don't leave him in Bezdin. He shouldn't change his mind. He pays immediately. So it says Rashi, as soon as he says, I'm not going to swear, what do? Pay up and leave. Pay up and leave. Pay your bill and leave. And he says, I'll swear. He gave me a choice. So Halavai, he would say, I'll pay up. And now he says, I won't. And he says, the people were standing to say to each other, Suru no me'alai, oyalei hanoshim harishayim eilad. Right? Turn away from these anoshim rishayim. Okay? Lashon Rabbim. Ukamashbi and Isai, when they make him swear, oimim, loy, have a idea, you should be aware. Shaloy al daitcha anu mashbiyin maischa. We had this earlier, guys. It's not what you're thinking when we're making you swear. El al das hamakon, al das bezdin. But it's what Hashem, and therefore there's no hafara. And also what's Bezdin's thinking. She came at the scene of Moshe Rabbeinu, kishes biyas Yisrael, when he made Yisrael swear, amalehen, you should know, shaloy al daitchem ani mashbiya eschem, el al das hamakon. Val daiti. Shnemar v'lo yitchem levatchem. Ki es asher yesh poi en li Eloisim ha'oindim al Har Sinai. Those who stood by Har Sinai. Guys, this is the shul was Moshe made it in Arvis Moav. Therefore, he said not only ones that are. No, don't make. It's not by Har Sinai. Those who stood by Sinai, because it's speaking about Arvis Moav. Doris haboyim the gerim hasidim mizgayer minayin. How do you know they're part of the shul? Tamalayma veis asher nenu poi. Those who are not here. Ve'en li olim mitzvah shekiblu aleya me Har Sinai. Mitzvah Asidas is Chadish, mitzvahs that will be in the future. Kegoin Mikra Megillah, Minayin. This one is source that Mikra Megillah might be the Reis of Baruch. Talmud Loimar, Kimu v'Kiblu. It doesn't say Kiblu v'Kimu, it says Kimu v'Kiblu. Kimu Masha Kiblu Kfar. Okay. So that's basically what you told this guy this whole litany of things. Am I af Yibla Shoina Nemra? We guys, when we began the Gemara, the bottom line on Lamed Ches Lamed Beis. Af hibel shoyne nemra, right? When is af? What is af going on? Am I af hibel shoyne nemra? Kid none. In other words, other things are said. It must be other things are said in the English language as well. Well, English for us, but whatever language they understood, right? Yiddish. Ilu nemra b'chol Hashem parsha site. Ilu nemra b'chol Hashem. Kid none. Ilu nemra b'chol Hashem parsha site. Did I skip anything? You sure? Okay. Af people shine nema. None. Elu nema b'chol lashon. Parsha saita. Vidui maisa. Kriya shma. Utfila. Ubichas hamazon. Ushuas edis. Ushuas hapikadin. V'kamanami shuas adayanim. Af people shine nema. Okay, now we're going to go over the Baisa, guys. We're going to go over the Baisa. Amamar. Oimrim loy. Have a idea. Shekol oilam kuloi nizdaze b'shoshim hakadosh baruch hu loisisa Hashem hakech l'shav. My timer. Ilemi mishum disyav b'Sinai. If you're going to say because it was given by Sinai, Yankel's vart aseret dibrais nami isyav, and the only one that it shook by was leisisha. Ve'elam mishum dechamira. You'll say because it's so chama, that's why the world shook. Umich chamira more than other mitzvahs. Vatanan. Vatanya, Elohim Akalos, we had this earlier. Also, actually, I had a Yuma. Elohim Akalos, Essay Vloisase, Chutz Mileisisa. Even though Leisisa is a Loisase, it's outside Kalos, it's not a Kal. Kasha is not from there. Here's the Kasha. Chamurois Zukrisus and Mises Bezdin, and Vleisisa Imahem. And Leisisa is included among Krisus and Mises Bezdin. But guys, it's not more Chomer than Krisus and Mises Bezdin. In other words, Chomer would have to be, it's uniquely special. It's more chomer than anything. Over here, it doesn't say it's more chomer than a lav, but it's not more chomer than Krisus and Mises Bezdin. So what's the chomer that the world shook? El keditani taima. V'chalaver shebetoyre nema behen v'nake. V'kan nema lo yenake. V'chalaver shebetoyre lo nema behen lo yenake. I v'kasiv v'nake v'lo yenake. It's actually more on. It does say that. When we buy the Rebbe Lazar, the tiny Rebbe Lazar, Yev Shalom V'nake Shekvanema Lo Yenake. Yev Shalom Lo Yenake Shekvanema V'nake. Okay, Tzad. Menake Hu Lashavim. For those people who go ahead, do tshuva, it's menake. Ve'ena menake l'sheinu shavim. But guess what, guys? By shvua, even if you do tshuva, lo yenake. But by false shvua, even a shvua will not be menake without a punishment. Yeah, that's the word over here. That's the chumrah. The chumrah is it says lo yenake. It says it by other mitzvahs also. Other mitzvahs lo yenake if you don't do tshuva, but if you do tshuva, it will be cleansed. By shvuas shvav, fellas, even if you do tshuva, you're gonna have to get punished. Okay, that's the chumrah. Kol aveshe b'torah nifroi mimenu v'kan mimenu mishpachtoi. It says by the Moilech. The Samti ani es panai beishahu mishpachtoi. So you see by the Moilech fellas, Kadosh Baruch Hu will go ahead and punish. V'tanya Amar Shimon im hu chata mishpachta ma'chata. Lo milcha ein lecha mishpacha sheish ben moiches shein kula moichsim. Tax collectors was not a very, very nice profession, right? So the guy, if you have a tax collector, the whole mishpacha tax collectors. Usheish ben listim shein kula listim. The guy's a robber, the whole house is robbers. Mifnei shem echapen love because they'll have mercy on him, they'll cover up, right? So you have a kasha. You're telling me that what? That it's unique that you're going to take retribution from mishpacha. You see by Moilech also. So mchosam bedina achrina. That they'll get off with lighter punishment. Bedina achrina means the din will be another din. Hacha bedina di day. Here by mishpachta, it's going to get what? The same thing as him. In other words, when it's said over here in the brisa that he'll be, but mishpach will be punished, it's not unique. Every other mishpachas are also punished. The uniqueness over here is he'll get the same punishment as you, as opposed to the other ones, they'll get a lighter punishment. Kiditanya, Rabbi Omer, v'chrati osai. Ma tam eloim. Why does it say that? Vishanemar, v'samte ini es panai. Yachol kol mishpacha kula be kares. I might think that what everyone gets kares. Tam eloim osai. Osai be kares. V'lei kol mishpacha kula be kares. So you see that what his avera is more punishable than theirs. Okay. Okay, continuing on.
It's more covered because we're in the same with them, but Will Hashem has no power.
That's where it's Kagufa. That's yeah. You're right.
This is Mamash Will Hashem.
And here, not only him, but the whole world. Says the koshlu ish ba'achiv, koshlu lashon of what stumbling, ish ba'ovin achiv, that ish will get punished for the oven of his brother. Melamish kol Yisrael araven zeh on the base that all Yisrael are araven. They're what they are they are co-signers to each other. So you see that they're guilty. So what's the? In other words, we're going through the brisa and we said certain halachas regarding shua. We said it's a chum of shua. We said that the mishpacha will be punished, and we're saying that each one, even though it might exist in other realms, it's still more severe over here. So the chumrah over there is that there's no tshuva for it. You're going to have to get punished. And by mishpacha, the chumrah is that what mishpacha will get the same punishment. Over here, it seems mashma also that not every avera also has impact upon the whole society. The Gemara says, I'll tell you why. Hasam sheyesh biyadai limchais leimicha. There, by kol Torah, the reason why they're punished is because you had the ability to open your mouth and you didn't. You were complicit. You didn't open your mouth. Masha'en came by what? Masha'en came by shvua. Even if you're not, you're going to be punished. In other words, but arvis, the reason you're punished is because you could have been meicha. But if you are meicha, you're not going to be punished. But by shvua, you're going to be punished. The whole world will be punished. Side by side. Now the Gemara is, we had a kasha, guys. You said that if shvua, the mishpach is punished and the oilam is punished. If the others is punished, Mamela the Mishpach is punished, right? So let's get three madregas: a Rosh himself, a Rosh of the Mishpacha, and a Rosh of the world. Guys, you yourself did it. You yourself caused your family as a result, or you yourself caused the world as a result. But those are okay. So now, says the Gemara, my ikka. They always said that the same. One's going on the highway. An easy piss. The alma. What's the difference between Rishayim that get result as a result of his avera regarding the mishpacha, as a result of his avera regarding the world, where they had Rishayim the alma, they had the yesh biyad limchais. Bein tzadikim de mishpachta, the tzadikim de alma, who the Rosh himself b'shar averes b'dinei, v'rishoyim de mishpachma b'din chomer, but not as chomer as him. V'rishoyim de alma b'din akal. So it goes down right in severity. It goes down in severity, right? It goes, he's punished. The mishpach is punished not as severe as him. This is speaking where not the case of Shvuah. And Rishonim Alma, they'll be punished less than that. Tzadiki dahacha v'hacha patiri. So, but tzadikim in both cases are pata. So this is the case, guys, by a regular avera. By a regular avera, guys, he gets punished. His mishpacha gets punished less, and the world gets punished less, and tzadikim they're not punished at all. Gabe Shvuah, okay, now, who v'rishoyim the mishpacha kedine, right? They're the same one. Guys, they're 1 and 2. Him and the mishpacha are all, they get the same thing. V'rishoyim the alma b'din chomer, but not as severe. B'tzadik the hacha v'hacha b'din akal. Oh, Shvuah. If you're a tzaddik, you're still going to be punished b'din akal. You're still going to get punished, right? Guys, that's the difference. Okay, the Brisa said, "Im Omer Eini Nishba." If he says, "I won't swear," then Paitron Miyad. He says, "Baruch Hashem." We Paitron Miyad. Go pay. Im Omer Eini Nishba. Hoim V'Shamayim Rimzel Zeh. Sur Nami Olei Anoshim Rishayim Eila. Now, it says, guys, Sur Nami Olei Ha'Anoshim Harishayim. How many Rishayim is mashma? More than one. But according to my cheshbon, you only have one. The guy who's swearing falsely, right? So where do you get 2? You hear? Where do you get 2 from, guys? The only one who's guilty over here is the one who's swearing falsely. Okay. Bishlema hu dekam mishtabe koibi surah. Ela hu dekam mishabale amai. The one who caused him to swear, why is he guilty? And for the Gemara Kidatanya of Shimon and Tafranaimer, Shevuous Hashem tiye ben shnehem. The Shevuous Hashem should be between them, shnehem. Melamed shechol shvuah al shnehem, on both of them. Rashi, guys. Top Rashi. Chol al shnehem. Shnehem ne'enoshim ba. They're both going to get punished. You know why? Digdek limser mimoinoi biyad neman. He entrusted somebody to watch his money. He should have been what? More careful. So by you're over like lifnei iver, sitei michshel, by giving it to a guy who's not a falestach guy, right? You're causing him to swear, so you're guilty as well. Ubali de chil Hashem. There's your word. It comes to chil Hashem. So that's what showing. It's interesting, you know, like how how careful you have to be in Yani Mammon and sign everything. Okay, this is what I thought I skipped something. So guys, what did you say? Guys, I'm making you swear al daitcha, al das bezdin and das amakan. So what are you worried about? And for the Gemara, you're worried Mishum Kanya the Rava. Do you remember Rava's Kanya, Rava's Cain? Remember the story? Mm-hmm. What did he do? This clever man. Guy, he owed a guy money. And he said, I paid you up. And he's going to swear in Besdin. So he took the money, he put it in a stick, and he gave the stick to the other guy. And he swore that he gave him the money. And the guy was so upset, he threw the stick down, and the money came out. And then the Chachamim were talking that what? We're not swearing what you say and what you think, right? Because this guy in his mind, he's swearing great. After all, I gave him the money. So this is you're swearing on Adas and that thing. Okay, that's the end of easy Agartha Gemara. Now we're beginning hard Gemara. But we're doing good. Okay, let's go back to the Mishnah, guys. Let's go back to the Mishnah. You'll get it. Hopefully I can explain it well. Shevuous hadayonim hatayna shtei kesef v'hahoyde b'shava pruta. Now, what does that mean? Okay, let's go. We have 2 people, me and Penny. Okay, me and Penny. I make a claim of Penny. It says shtei kesef. Pashut, you would think it means I'm going ahead and claiming from Penny 2 more of kesef, 2 silver coins. And Penny is in Maiden a pruta. In that case, he won't be. In that case, Penny wouldn't swear, right? Why? Because it's copper and that's silver. But my claim was 2 kesef. There's another way to learn pshat, fellas. You have to deny 2 more of kesef. In other words, it's not that the claim. It's not the person making the claim. It's the guy denying how much he's owed. So the claim would have to be at least 2 more of kesef and a shava pruta, because you're going to deny the full 2. Guys, let's get this straight. I mean, it sounds convoluted, but it's not. In other words, when it says two ma kesef in the Mishnah, is it going on the guy making the claim, or is it going the guy denying the claim? According to Rav, it's going on the guy denying the claim. In other words, there's no denial, kfira, less than two ma'av kesef. There's no, according to Shmuel, there's no claim less than two ma'av kesef. So according to Rav, you'd never have a shvu modim mixas. You need at least two ma'av kesef and a pruta in the claim, because you'd have to go ahead and deny the two. According to Shmuel, no. It could be, it doesn't have, it could be two ma'av kesef. So that's the machlekes. Good. Once we get that down, the Gemara should go a little good. Okay. Hataynish de kesef. Amarav. Kfiris tainash de kesef. He has to be koifer. He has to be koifer shte kesef. Afil loy koifer ele bepruta. Even if he's koifer only bepruta, right? Loy hoide ele bepruta chayiv. Okay, that's Shmuel. Shmuel Amar tainus atzma shte kesef. Afil loy koifer ele pruta. Oy v'loy hoide ele bepruta chayiv. Says according to Rav, the kfira has. In other words, Pini would have to go, guys. In our case, I would have to go to Pini. You owe me two more kesef and a pruta, and Pini would have to say, "I don't owe you two more kesef." According to Shmuel, I say, "Pini, you owe me two more kesef," and Pini says, "I owe you a pruta." Okay, that's the machlokes. Now, Amarava, Deka Masnisan Kavase de Rav. Rabbi says the Mishnah is meduyik. We have two Mishnayos that are like Rav. Vikroi Kavase de Shmuel, and the pasuk is meduyik like Shmuel. Deka Masnisan Kavase de Rav. Diktani Hataina Shtei Kesef. V'Haidah Shavar Pruta. That was Lashon Mishnah. The Taina is two Kesef, and the admission is a Shavar Pruta. V'ilu Kfiras Taina Pruta like a Tani. It doesn't say that he was kaifa a pruta. Why didn't it say it's kaifa pruta? Because he has to be kaifa what? Two more kesef. When he didn't say the kaifa pruta, guys, you mentioned the haida pruta, right? But why didn't it say kaifa pruta? Because the kaifa has to be what? It has to be he has to be kaifa two more kesef. That's our Mishnah. A second Mishnah, V'tnan nami im sechta ba mitzia, ha-haida b'pruta. It says you might in a pruta. V'ilu kafir pruta like a tani. So the Mishnah is the Torah Shebal Peh is mashma like Rav. The Torah Shebal Peh is mashma like Rav. Okay, the pasuk is mashma like Shmuel. I sent out the pasuk. You should have it. If you don't have it, it's not a big deal. I'm gonna say it out. You see a pasuk here, Kenny? I sent it out to you. Yeah, you see a pasuk? There's a pasuk there. Good. Okay, now there's three psukim, fellas. We skip in the middle. If you have an art school Gemara or more modern Gemara, you can have the pasuk inside, guys. If you have the more modern Gemaras, you can have the pasukim inside. So pasuk vav. Ki yitain ish el reyehu kesef kelim lishmar. So you gave over your friend to watch, okay? So now you're shayim pikadin. Guys, good? Okay, that's all we need. So pasuk vav is shayim pikadin. Then we get through the din of ganif. And now you get the pasuk ches. I'll call the bar pesha, and this is what he's watching. Al shor, al chamar, al seh, al salma, any one of those things. I'll call aveda asher yoymar ki zeh. Any aveda, he said, I said ki zeh. You know what ki zeh means, guys? It's not ki hu like you say, but zeh. It's like this. Then the nikr back to pasuk vav, the nikr pasuk zayin, the nikr balabayas el Elohim. You're gonna make a shvua. You're going to make a shvua. So what are you making a shvua on? On ki huzeh, moed b'miktas. Now, if you read the pasuk, T'kiyita ish al reyo kesef kalim. So you gave him kesef. How much kesef did you give? Kalim. What are kalim? Two. So you gave two kesef. Two more, and then it says ki huzeh. So it's mashman a pasuk like Shmuel. You gave him what the taina was that you gave him two of kesef, and on that ki huzeh you were meidim mitzas. So the taina is not what you're not being koifrin to. You're claiming to. That pasuk is mashma. So be aware, guys. Look, you're skipping a pasuk. So I wanted to point that out. So this pasuk is mashma like Shmuel. You gave him kesef kalim, right? You gave him kesef or kalim, and he said ki huzeh. So it's mashma that's the claim. Not that you koifrin, but that's the claim. Says the Gemara inside. The Kroy Kavase the Shmuel, and it's the Psukim Mamashim like Shmuel. Dichsiv, Kitinish Areo Kesev Kelim Lishmar, Ma Kelim Shnayim, Av Kesev Shnayim, Ma Kesev Dav Chashiv, Av Kol Dav Chashiv, Amav Kesev. V'kam Rachmana on that Ki Huzeh. Good. Now, the Rav. Now, so this is pashtus. What does Rav do with the raya? I mean, you got l'chayr of a pasuk that's mashma completely like Shmuel. What does Rav do with that? So what does Rav do with that? The Rav, that pasuk mi boile l'hoido b'miktzas atayna, right? That's pasuk teaches me that I'm what this is Shevuous and Moed b'miktzas. So the pasuk's not extra. It's not going back, guys. Pasuk Ches is not going back on the previous pasuk. In other words, he learns this pasuk is Elaine. Ches is not connected to Vav. This pasuk is Kiyuzeh. It's not extra to go back on Vav. Vav is what? Is the Taina. Ches is not going back on the Taina. That's he learns. It's not going back on the Taina. Ushmuel, Ksiv hu, it says who. Uksiv zeh. So from the word who, it's going back on the beginning. This is what I says. This is what he claims. So the who is going back on the previous pasuk. The ikaf of mikzas v'oidav mikzas. If he denies partially and agrees partially, chayiv. So according to Rav, there's nothing extra to go back. According to Shmuel, he breaks up the who and the zeh. The Rav, chad lahoidav mikzas atayna, v'chad lahoidois mimin atayna. You need one to tell me Shevuous that there's such a thing as Moed and Mikzas, and secondly, it has to be, but you're not going back in the previous pasuk. In other words, Ki Huzeh, you can't be Moed Bechitin v'Hoid La B'Sayrin. It has to be Min Atayna. So the way to break it up so far, just simply, I'm sorry, I'm not feeling well, guys. So far, you have two psukim. You have pasuk Vav and you have pasuk Ches. If you're going to connect pasuk Ches to pasuk Vav, then the taina is two kesef and the hoida. That's it. Again, if you're going to connect pasuk Ches to pasuk Vav, then it's like Shmuel. Rav does not connect pasuk Ches to pasuk Vav. He does not. Shmuel learns that what ki hu is going back on pasuk Vav and says Moed Mikzas. Rav says no. Ki hu zeh is Moed Mikzas. And to tell me that it has to be Memoidim Min Atayna. It has to be in the same thing, but it's not going back on Pasuk Vav. So if it's not going back on Pasuk Vav, you don't know that the Taina has to be Shtei Kesef. It's what? It's the Kfir is 2 Kesef. Does that make any sense? As long as it doesn't go back. As long as it doesn't go back, then you can say it's Kaifa. Okay, that's where we're holding so far. Again, you're learning at numbers. One's from Kesef, you're learning Chashiv, and Kalim, you're learning at numbers. El Amalach Rav, Kesef. So, excuse me. Shmuel says, Lav memela shemat mina. Don't you hear memela that the kfir is only in shtei kesef? The chasula taina? In other words, you don't need a pasuk. Once you have pasuk vav telling, in other words, you don't need pasuk ches to go back to pasuk vav. Memela, you're in far. If pasuk vav speaks kesef a kalim, and that's two things, memela, you know the kfir is going to be what? On that. In other words, you know that's the amount. You don't need to go back. So says Lav Memela Shemat Mina that the kfir is only on 2 kesef. Why? Because the pasuk says shtei kesef, and therefore he's moed in that amount, and therefore the hechrich the kfir has to be less than that. Guys, outside, pasuk vav tells me what? Guys, kiyitain ish. What does it tell me? Kesef kalim. What does that mean? For all intents and purposes, 2 silver mois of kesef. Good. Yes? And then in Pasuk Ches it says, you made part of that, and you deny part of that. Says Shmuel to Rav, I don't need it to go back on Pasuk Ches, from Pasuk Ches to Pasuk Vav. Mimela kihuzeh has to be going what on pasuk. Mimela, without it going back, Rav, you can keep all you want pasuk ches independent. You still Mimela, you know that what the taina has to be less than shtei kesef. Because the whole claim in the first place was shtei kesef. And if you moided the part of it, you're not claim. If you moided the whole thing, you kaifa b'kol. Now that's not moided b'mitzas. Q says moided b'mitzas. So Mimela says Shmuel to Rav, even if you're going to tell me there's nothing extra in pasuk ches, nonetheless Mimela by just default. By default, it has to be fellas that you're going ahead and denying. I don't know if that makes any sense. I'm talking. I don't know if it's going in. I'm not. My pedagogical antenna is up. Okay, I'm doing it one more time, guys. Listen up. Listen up. Kenny, I don't want you to do your Ray Walston imitation from my favorite Martian. Okay. Kenny, that antenna is going up. For those who remember, as Dr. Press has a little smile on his face. Bill Bixby and Ray Woolston. What? My favorite Martian. Okay, guys, listen up.
I've heard.
Okay, guys. Machloikis Rav and Shmuel. Says Rav, the Shmuel Moedim mitzvah has to be that the person's claiming at least more than two more kesef. At least why? Because the denial has to be in that amount. According to Shmuel, no, the whole claim is in that amount. Where does Shmuel? We have Mishnayos that are maskim like Rav because they don't say anything about kofer, and we have a raya to Shmuel from a pasuk, and that's what we're focusing on. The pasuk seems to say Ki'itin ish al kesef v'kelim, and we're teaching kesef v'kelim is two more kesef, right? Because it says kelim, okay, and then two psukim later it says kihuzeh. So therefore, it must be that what it's two kihuzeh is going on this. Says Rab, no, the kihuzeh is not going back on this. Kihuzeh is teach me that there's such a thing as shul moedim mixas, and it has to be moedim minatayna. At the end of the day, Shmuel turns to Rav and says, Rav, you can tell me all you want about pasuk ches. The bottom line is, if pasuk vav is speaking about kesef kelim, about two more kesef, if you're going to tell me that moedim mixas in pasuk ches, it has to be that he is being moida to a taina of two kesef, or else if the kfir is two more kesef, it's not moedim mixas. That's the kasha now. Amalach Rav. Kesef, it says in the pasuk kesef, ki asa meikara, right? L'kfiru hudasa. So guys, hear what he's doing? He's making pasuk vav, not the taina, he's making it kfira. When he says ish kiyitain el re'ehu kesef, it's speaking about what the guy's claiming. It's speaking about the kfira, what he's being koifer, not what he's claiming, what he's being koifer. He's being koifer. Se'el amal charav, kesef. When it says kesef, kiyasem eikara, when it comes at the beginning of the tviyah, el kfiru hudasa. It's to tell you that he's koifer in two more kesef. Two. The imkain, if he's only teaching me what the person is claiming and not what he's being denying, lichta v'rachmana kiyitin ish el re'ehu kelim. Like just say kiyitin ish el re'ehu kelim lishmar. Why do you have to? No, Amina, and I would know by myself that just like Kalim, it's for anything, not only Kalim, but anything else to watch. Ma Kalim Shnayim, Af Kol Dav Shnayim, right? And even Kesef would be in that rule. Kesef the Kos Rachman Olamali, and Meinu in the Taina, Tanei in the Kafira. Says Rav. So again, Shmuel was very right. Labrias. Guys, Shmuel was right. If you're going to dash in Pasuk Vav as a Taina, Rav is out. He's not going to darshan it as a taina. He's going to darshan it as the kfira. Ish kiyitin el re'ehu kesef kelim. If you want to tell me something to watch, just say the word kelim, and I would know anything. Kelim is not dafka kelim. It's anything you entrust the person to watch. Anything you entrust the person to watch. If you do the whole process, good. Why do you write kesef? In einay inyan for the taina. I don't need it for that. What am I going to use it for? For the kfira. I'll use it for the kfira. And since so therefore, it's very good. Pasuk Vav is describing the kfira, and Moedim Mitzvah is the Pasuk Ches. That's Rav. Ushmuel, why is not actually? Shmuel will tell you, Have I mean in my kalim is shnayim, I've called shnayim. I will dove choshev loybin. And if you wouldn't have kesef to define what you're watching, I would think that what it's only the only din, right? If you go ahead and claim something that's not choshev and not kalim, and you more than one of them, you be chayv shvur. Kamash on the pasuk kesef to make a hekesh that's dafka dove choshev, but dafka dove choshev. So I need the word kesef. I can't. It's not extra for what for kfira. It's there for what for. It's there for time. Okay, Bez Hashem. We'll do this tomorrow again. I'll go over it again at the beginning of tomorrow.